Has this ever happened to you? Imagine, you are mindlessly scrolling through your Twitter feed, liking all the pretty art you see, until you get a notification. Community noted, this image is AI generated. How is this possible? I didn't notice! Well, hello, I'm a Vtuber and a freelance illustrator, and I've had this experience many times, especially on Twitter and Pinterest. So, I want to help you spot mistakes that artificial intelligence can make. I'm splitting this video in two parts. How to recognize AI-generated art, and how to spot illustrations traced over generated art. A few heads up though, I refer to these generated images as quote-unquote art just because it's easier, but personally I do not consider AI-generated images to be true art. I'm making this video to raise awareness, but take this information with a grain of salt. These clues don't always mean someone used AI. Humans make mistakes too. So consider these just as red flags, and do not harass or accuse anyone without a solid evidence. And if you're passionate about art, you can follow me on Twitch. I mostly stream illustrations and I crash out a lot because trying is hard. So, how to recognize AI art? You might know some of these already, but here's a list of the ones I've noticed. The first one is the one that people use the most, which is hands. Do you see any finger missing? Do you spot an additional one that doesn't belong there? Do they look distorted or melted? You need to take in consideration that human artists often make mistakes as well because hands are hard to draw. And unfortunately, nowadays generative AI has improved, so this method is not that reliable anymore. Number 2. If you zoom in for details, you might see hair strand melting into the shoulder, them disappearing or reappearing, clothing not making sense, like this choker or this chain. What the hell is happening here? It doesn't make sense! Also, if a person posted a fan art, there might be some inconsistencies like missing hairpins, wrong accessories, or details that don't match the character. Well, to be fair, I forget some minor details as well, but you should put that in mind. If the OP removes images or comments whenever AI use is mentioned, that's a pretty red flag. Like, what do you have to hide, huh? And the most important things is eyes. Pay attention to eyelids, pupils, iris, and especially eyelashes. If they look melted or distorted, that's a pretty big red flag. If you have more free time and you want to get more deeply into this, then you can go check their Twitter. Posting a fully detailed illustration every single day is unusual. Some human artists are fast or they tend to repost old work, but a new high quality illustration every single day for a year? That's pretty suspicious. And now, how to recognize traced AI art. This is trickier and requires more research, but again, do not rely only on these clues. So, if the artist has sudden drastic style changes, human artists practice and improve daily, but a huge change over a few weeks or few months is pretty unusual, especially if they change style very often. Sometimes some of these LARPers try to show proof of their art, like time lapses, and this is where they usually dig their own grave. And here's how. Number 1, if they go for a fully detailed line art without a base sketch. Number 2, if the sketch looks like it's made by a beginner artist, but the final piece looks like it's made by a professional. It might be confusing, but let me explain. When I say beginner-like lines, this is what I mean. They look like small, shaky strokes. This is very common among beginners. I used to draw like this too. An artist who developed advanced skills don't usually have this style, especially if their line art is very clean. If the anatomy sketch looks like it's been made by a beginner artist, but the final piece looks way too good. And number 4, if the rendering process is weird. For example, I've seen some scammers time lapses where they do the line art and then they color a little bit of the hair and then they move to the skin and then to the background and then to the skin again and then to the clothes. It was very funny. But yeah, these are some ways to spot potential AI generated or traced art. And there are more methods, but I probably forgot some of them. So if I have missed them, feel free to suggest more in the comments. Remember, these are just red flags, not solid evidence. Always be mindful before accusing someone. Otherwise, I'm gonna eat your head. Thank you so much for watching and happy drawing!